Welcome to the divisional rounds of the. What are you doing, Stu?
Oh, I'm handing out cigars, Steve.
Why, Stu?
Because the Dolphins fired Jeff Ireland! Cigars for everybody! Yay!
There we go.
All right.
All right. Welcome to Electric Football, the divisional rounds. We're going to do this quick because we're not sure if our computer's going to
Yeah,
work
we're
or
having
not.
a rough time.
I got to tell you one thing. One thing that's really fun about these playoffs is all the young ascendant quarterbacks that are in it. You've got Wilson,
Yeah.
you've got Luck,
Uh-huh.
you've got Kaepernick. Newton's still fairly young. RG3's got to be sitting at home going like, why not me? Anyway,
Rubber legs.
let's go. We're gonna do the Saturday games here, and then we're gonna stop and we're gonna do the Sunday games for you in a separate thing, so you don't wear out on watching too much
Yeah,
electric
you can
football.
watch it in
one shot.
pieces, you know.
Saints versus Seahawks. The line is Seattle -8. We're gonna let Stu lead off.
Oh, okay. Well, Breeze has passed for 1,800 yards more than Wilson, and the last time they played, 34-7 Seattle. Seattle had 429 yards of total offense. The Saints had $188. Seattle had a defensive touchdown. Graham was held to 3 catches for 42 yards and a touchdown. And the touchdown's important, but not when you're losing by 30 more. Seattle's only loss at home was to Indy this year, which is kind of telling. It's an interesting team to have lost to. I thought that was surprising. The weather's going to be warm but wet, and I expect a lot of Marshawn Lynch. I expect the defenses, which are really going to be the difference in this game. I think the Seattle defense is going to pound the Saints into submission, and the Saints don't have a running game to be able to counter Breeze's attack outside in Seattle. I am taking Seattle by 20.
Okay. Key for the Saints, as far as I can see this game, is Darren Sproles.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to play a big role.
Absolutely.
He's got to be both in the running game, he's got to be in the passing game, and very importantly, he needs to break some big plays on special teams.
Mm-hmm.
He is the X factor for the Saints.
He is.
The key for the Seahawks is punish Graham and Colston every time they catch the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Like Stu said in their earlier meeting, they were able to limit the running game significantly. I think the Saints' leading rusher had 22 yards.
Yeah, they had 40 total. I think,
yeah,
something like that.
And I think Breeze threw for under 150. I honestly believe that the Saints' offense could not find a worse matchup than going against the Seahawks.
Yep.
The Seahawks have the speed. They have the punishing cornerbacks. What they really have to do is force the Saints to put it in the air and then take advantage of the mistakes Drew Brees will make.
Mm-hmm.
I will say this, though. I think the Saints match up pretty well against the Seahawks offense. The Seahawks offense isn't that scary if you can slow down Marshawn Lynch.
He is. He's their offensive because Wilson doesn't pass for 400 yards.
And, Golden Tate, while having a good season, what did he end up with?
800 yards.
6 touchdowns tops?
800 yards.
Yeah, he's not really a true number one. Without Percy Harvin in there, they're not as the Seahawks aren't as explosive as some teams, a la the Saints.
Right.
But I do think the advantage really goes to the Seahawks defense in this game, plus home field, plus the fact that they've already kicked the snot out of the Saints earlier.
And in New Orleans.
And the better running back. The key is, as you said, they can control the ball with Marshawn Lynch, most likely.
Yeah.
So, barring some big Darren Sproles plays, I think the Seahawks win it. If I was going against the spread, I honestly think I'd take the Saints because I think it will be close. All of last week's games, except for the Bengals, my God, what a great weekend and week of football.
Yeah.
Throw in 3 of the 4 playoff games that we saw last week, and the national championship game, which was
ridiculous,
crazy.
Outstanding game.
So it's almost like they're scripting these damn things. I gotta tell you.
Briefly, Florida State with the return for the touchdown, Auburn goes right back down and scores, and then Florida State with 13 seconds left. It was as exciting as Auburn, Alabama was.
And don't forget Auburn, Georgia. Could Auburn have had a more exciting season and ended on a more disappointing note? Yeah. I doubt they could have. Anyway, let's move on to the next game. Oh, by the way, we were 2-2 last week.
Yeah.
We got the Colts, luckily. And,
literally, luckily.
And who did we get? We got San Francisco.
Yeah, we got San Francisco.
And we missed on the Eagles, and we missed on the Bengals. Though I will say Stu is totally correct about Andy Dalton. I now buy into the Dalton is a choker theory for here on out.
Smoke them if you got 'em, boys. Dalton sucks.
Indy versus New England. New England -7.5 is the line. Indy beat KC in an epic comeback, reminiscent of the Frank Reich comeback, but they only won. I honestly believe they only won this game because Kansas City suffered some key injuries. Most importantly, Jamal Charles on what, the sixth play of the game? You're telling me that he wouldn't have made a difference in that? But the Colts did not quit. When Luck came out and threw it, that, what was it, third interception to start the third, I was ready to say it was done, but I had nothing better to do.
First drive of the third,
so I laid around and watched that game, and it turned out to be amazing. The key for New England is to pressure Luck. They need Chandler Jones. They need Rob Ninkovich, who combined for almost 20 sacks this season, and most of their sacks. They don't have a great pass rush. They need to get after Luck. The key for the Colts is guys named Fleener and Whalen and Brazil need to take some of the pressure off of T.Y. Hilton. He's going to have a Talib blanket on him to stay warm. My take on it is I think the Colts need to try and establish a run game. I know that sounds crazy, and I know he's been disappointing in Richardson. But you pound Brown and you pound Richardson early. What's that? Yeah, I know. So you pound them early, and you play the game. You play the game to keep Brady off the field as much as possible. They're riding high with the confidence they got on the lucky bounce to Luck, and a hell of a play by him to scoop it up and jump in. I actually think they beat a better team than New England last week when they beat the Chiefs. I am taking the Colts in the upset.
Wow. I will not be. Andrew Luck can't throw 3 picks against a New England team and expect to win the game, let alone recover his own fumble and have the Red Sea part for him to dive through the middle for the touchdown.
Well, I like a bank shot it off of the offensive lineman's helmet.
Yeah, that was a colossal meltdown by the Googly Mooglies. I don't see New England. New England doesn't have a great defense, but they don't make a lot of mistakes. They don't make errors like having a wide open, was it Hilton that caught the bomb down the middle? I mean, as I said in last week's preview, Kansas City had to keep everything in front of them, and I don't know how they let the one guy get by them that they couldn't
afford. One guy that was catching passes all day.
Yeah, they couldn't afford to get him past him, and they did. New England is rested. They have Indianapolis's number, and that goes back to the Peyton Manning days. Indy can light it up, but imagine what Brady can do to that secondary. Smith threw for 4 touchdowns and 378 yards. Alex Smith threw 378 yards and 4 touchdowns against Indianapolis. Imagine what Brady's going to do. If you're asking me who I think is going to win, I think New England, and I think it's going to be pretty handy.
It's kind of weird handicapping this game and not talking about it being Manning versus Brady. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what we're used to.
That is what we're used to. I think you raise a great point. You expect Brady to do big things, and that's totally legitimate, and I am picking an upset. I understand I'm picking an upset. But look at who he's throwing to. If the Colts are ever going to shut down some wide receivers, it should be New England's.
It should be, but they gave up almost 400 yards to Alex Smith and Dwayne Bowe.
Yeah, well, Dwayne Bowe is a step above Julian Edelman.
Yeah, but it's not Brady throwing the ball.
I
it's
know.
Alex Smith.
Alex Smith is not bad.
No, he's not.
Come on, let's erase that old Alex Smith.
No. Believe me,
stain.
I thought the 49ers made the mistake getting rid of him, honestly.
That's
but
true. You did say that.
It's Tom Brady. You can't beat New England at home. They're really difficult chore to ask Andrew Luck in his second year to be able to pull off.
All right, guys. That's the Saturday games.
So you got the Seahawks. We both agree on. Steve's taking the Clots. I'm taking the Pats. And I'm saying goodbye to Jeff Harlan.
Smoke them if you got them, guys.
Yeah.